On March 19, 2004, the searing heat of Ramadi, Iraq, bore down as Marine Corporal James Mitchell took position on a rooftop. His gaze was fixed, his eye pressed firmly against the precision scope of his M4A3 sniper rifle. The thermometer climbed to an oppressive 112 degrees Fahrenheit, while across the expansive Euphrates River Valley, the wind shrieked, its velocity fluctuating wildly between 15 and 20 miles per hour, refusing to settle into a predictable pattern, instead swirling erratically. Within his optical sight, Mitchell observed with intense focus an insurgent mortar team meticulously preparing their deadly ordnance approximately 800 yards distant. Their objective was chillingly clear: to unleash a barrage of lethal projectiles upon a Marine convoy navigating the labyrinthine streets of the city below. Mitchell, a highly trained marksman, made a subtle adjustment to his windage knob, calculating an estimated 2 minutes of angle to the left. He took a steadying breath, then, with practiced precision, squeezed the trigger. The M4A3 barked, a sharp retort echoing through the urban landscape. Yet, despite his expertise, the bullet veered, missing its intended target by a disheartening 3 feet. The insurgents, alerted by the near miss, immediately scattered, but not before their mortars unleashed their destructive payload. Below, in the unsuspecting convoy, 4 Marines tragically lost their lives. In a moment of raw frustration, Mitchell slammed his fist against the unyielding concrete. He was, to his bitter dismay, the 3rd Marine sniper that day to fail in delivering a critical, life-saving shot. It was not, he knew, entirely his personal failing. The capricious winds of Ramadi, a cruel and formidable adversary, shifted direction every 50 yards, rendering accurate calculations nearly impossible. Moreover, the intense heat shimmer rising from the parched earth and concrete surfaces created a distorting mirage, making traditional wind-reading techniques utterly useless. The standard Marine Corps doctrines, observing swaying grass, feeling the breeze on one's face, or tracking dust plumes, were simply ineffective within the confined, rebar-laced canyons of the urban environment. What Corporal Mitchell could not yet grasp was that this profound frustration, this agonizing inability to account for the elements, was on the precipice of igniting the most profoundly controversial and revolutionary innovation in the annals of sniper warfare. The stark statistical data painted a grim and devastating picture of the challenges faced by Marine Scout snipers operating in Iraq's unforgiving urban battlegrounds. Their first-round hit rate at distances exceeding 600 yards plummeted to a mere 31%, a figure that underscored the severity of the problem. A staggering 73% of all misses were directly attributable to miscalculations of wind. This inefficiency meant snipers were expending an average of 2 rounds for each confirmed kill, a critical drain on ammunition resources, especially during prolonged and intense firefights where every bullet counted. Enemy combatants, cunning and adaptable, had swiftly learned to exploit this vulnerability, timing their movements to coincide with the approximately 153 seconds it took a sniper to reevaluate conditions and prepare for a subsequent shot. The human cost was equally tragic. The Marine Corps had endured the loss of 14 scout snipers to enemy fire over the preceding 11 months. These were highly skilled individuals whose positions were fatally compromised by the necessity of firing multiple shots, unable to achieve the decisive one-shot kill due to the intractable challenge of accurately reading the wind. Stay with us and watch the end of the video. We will be grateful for your like and subscription. Please write a comment below about where you are from and what you think about the video topic. Meanwhile, back at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, the esteemed Marine Corps Scout Sniper School continued to impart wind-reading techniques that had been developed and codified during the Vietnam War in 1968. Instructors diligently coached their students to scrutinize mirage through their scopes, to discern wind direction and speed by the subtle sensation on their skin, and to apply a formula involving wind speed, range, and a constant. This methodology was inherently analog, fundamentally imprecise, and critically utterly inadequate for the chaotic and unpredictable urban wind patterns prevalent in Iraq, a failing that was demonstrably costing Marine lives. Unbeknownst to the Marine Corps establishment, a 23-year-old corporal, possessing no formal engineering degree, was about to render their entire, long-standing wind-reading doctrine entirely obsolete. At Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, in May 2004, the Marine Corps found itself grappling with a problem it had endeavored to resolve for 6 decades. Following the conclusion of World War II, the legendary Marine sniper instructor, Chief Warrant Officer Arthur Terry, had pioneered the mirage reading technique. This involved meticulously observing heat waves through a spotting scope to accurately estimate both wind speed and direction. This method proved remarkably effective in open, unobstructed terrain, and during the Vietnam conflict, it undeniably saved countless lives. However, in the complex urban environments of Iraqi cities, where heat radiated unevenly from a myriad of concrete surfaces at varying temperatures, the mirage became a bewildering, chaotic blur, rendering the technique utterly useless for precise wind assessment. In a further attempt to enhance sniper capabilities, the Marine Corps collaborated with Leupold Optics in 1977 to develop the innovative mil-dot reticle. This advanced scope incorporated precise reference points, proving brilliant for accurately estimating range and calculating holdover for elevation. Yet, despite its undeniable utility in these areas, it offered no practical assistance whatsoever in compensating for wind drift. A sniper was still left to rely on conjecture, having to guess at both wind speed and direction, then praying that their bullet would not be carried off course, either impacting an unintended structure or entirely missing the target. By 2003, the Army's Natick Soldier Research Center had invested a substantial $2 million into the development of handheld wind meters. These digital devices were designed to measure wind speed specifically at the shooter's position. However, snipers expressed a strong aversion to them. The critical flaw was immediately apparent. The wind conditions at the firing position were often entirely irrelevant to the wind conditions 400 yards downrange, which could be blowing in a completely different direction. Furthermore, the devices were not only expensive, costing $800 each, but also fragile and dependent on batteries that quickly succumbed to the extreme heat of the Iraqi climate, rendering them impractical in combat. The expert consensus on the matter was disturbingly clear. There appeared to be no practical solution for real-time wind reading within the complexities of urban combat scenarios. Dr. Robert Williams, a highly respected ballistics expert affiliated with Aberdeen Proving Ground, published a seminal paper in May 2004. In it, he unequivocally stated, "Wind presents an inherently chaotic, three-dimensional fluid dynamics problem. Without measuring instruments positioned along the entire bullet trajectory, an impossibility in combat, precision wind compensation remains dependent on shooter experience and environmental intuition." The pragmatic translation of this scientific pronouncement was stark. Snipers would perpetually be forced to guess. Their options were stark: either improve their guessing abilities or resign themselves to a continued pattern of misses. The stakes involved could not have been higher. Marine Corps after-action reports meticulously compiled from the fierce fighting in Fallujah revealed a critical and alarming trend. Enemy fighters were rapidly adapting their tactics. They had become acutely aware of the American snipers' struggles with wind compensation. Consequently, they began strategically timing their movements for the windiest periods of the day, particularly the late afternoon, when thermal currents created the most unpredictable and turbulent wind swirls. Furthermore, they were expertly exploiting the approximate 15-second window following a sniper's initial miss, using this brief interval to either make a swift escape or to return suppressive fire, turning the tables on their adversaries. At the Marine Corps Base Quantico, a 3-star general convened an urgent and somber meeting with the leadership of the Scout Sniper School. His frustration was palpable as he declared, "We are training the finest marksmen in the world, and yet they are consistently missing their targets because of wind. This must be fixed. I do not care what it takes." The school commandant, a seasoned colonel with 22 years of invaluable sniper experience, responded with a brutal and unvarnished honesty. "Sir," he stated, "we simply cannot. We are already imparting every piece of knowledge we possess. Wind reading in its essence is an art, not a precise science. It demands years of dedicated practice and experience to truly master. These young Marines are deployed after a mere 16 weeks of intensive training. There is, quite frankly, no existing technology that can adequately assist them in this particular challenge." The general, his patience exhausted, slammed his hand down on the table with a resounding thud. "Then our Marines will continue to die," he asserted, his voice sharp with conviction. "That is utterly unacceptable." The commandant, however, persisted in his grim assessment. "But there is no viable solution. The underlying physics are simply too complex. Achieving real-time wind measurement across an 800-yard urban expanse would necessitate dozens of sophisticated sensors, robust wireless communication networks, substantial portable computing power, and advanced algorithms that do not currently exist. Such technology, if even feasible, is decades away from realization." Consequently, the Marine Corps reverted to its ingrained institutional response, intensifying training, extending periods of instruction, and demanding even greater levels of performance from its already highly skilled snipers. In May 2004, the Scout Sniper School doubled its wind reading curriculum, expanding it from 12 hours to a grueling 24 hours. Instructors meticulously drilled students on mirage recognition, pushing them to the point of ocular fatigue. Students were made to fire thousands of rounds under a diverse array of wind conditions, painstakingly building both muscle memory and intuitive understanding. While these efforts yielded a marginal improvement, with hit rates nudging from 31% to a still insufficient 34%, the grim reality persisted. In June alone, 4 additional Marines tragically lost their lives due to missed sniper shots. The problem, it seemed, was truly insurmountable. 5 decades of dedicated military research, millions of dollars in investment, and the collective intellect of the finest minds in ballistics had all converged on a singular, disheartening conclusion. Reliably reading wind in the dynamic environment of urban combat was simply not possible. The strategic deployment of wind data in urban combat scenarios presents a myriad of complex challenges for military personnel. Yet a considerable distance away, approximately 800 miles from the theoretical discussions, a corporal finds himself engrossed in an entirely different line of thought. Corporal James Mitchell, a man devoid of a collegiate background, spent his formative years in the serene environs of Hendersonville, Tennessee, where he honed his practical skills within his father's HVAC repair enterprise. Opting for a life of service over academic pursuits, he enlisted in the Marines at the age of 19, driven by a natural inclination towards hands-on problem-solving rather than abstract intellectual endeavors. His journey to becoming a scout sniper was not without its hurdles. He secured his qualification on his second attempt, barely clearing the demanding wind-reading assessments. His instructors, in their evaluation, remarked on his competence, noting, "adequate, but not exceptional." Struggles with mirage interpretation, highlighting a particular area of difficulty in his skill set. The harrowing memory of a misfired shot in Ramadi, an incident that relentlessly invades his nocturnal repose, propels Mitchell back to Camp Lejeune in July 2004 for his post-deployment respite. Rather than indulging in well-deserved relaxation, he finds himself consumed by an overwhelming obsession. He meticulously reenacts the fateful shot countless times in his mind, recalling the capricious swirling of the wind and his erroneous estimation, which tragically resulted in the loss of 4 lives. This profound experience transforms him. He begins to carry a notebook ubiquitously, meticulously documenting his observations. He often positions himself outside the barracks, intently observing the subtle dance of leaves, feeling the nuanced caress of the wind upon his skin, and diligently recording his perceptions. His comrades, witnessing his peculiar behavior, express their concern with comments such as, "Mitch, you're off duty, man, let it go." However, the weight of his experience is too immense for him to simply disregard. Stay with us and watch the end of the video. We will be grateful for your like and subscription. Please write a comment about where you are from and what you think about the video topic. On August 3, 2004, Mitchell's analytical mind was further stimulated while assisting his father with the repair of an air conditioning unit atop a commercial edifice. The day was marked by brisk winds, with gusts originating from the west at an estimated speed of 10 miles per hour. His father, a seasoned professional, deployed a handheld anemometer, a device featuring small spinning cups designed to gauge airflow, particularly near the HVAC exhaust. Mitchell observed the device's rotation with keen interest before his gaze drifted across the rooftop to another HVAC unit situated approximately 50 yards away. To his astonishment, the exhaust from this second unit was visibly influencing the wind in a completely divergent direction. "Why is the wind different over there?" he inquired of his father, his curiosity piqued. His father, with a casual shrug, elucidated, "Buildings create eddies. Wind strikes one side, swirls around. That's precisely why we take measurements before installation. We need to ascertain the direction of heat exhaust." Mitchell's gaze lingered on the 2 HVAC units, processing the significant disparity in wind direction over such a short distance. It was in that moment that a profound realization dawned upon him. What if it were possible to measure wind, not merely at the shooter's position, but precisely where the bullet's trajectory unfolds? Initially, this groundbreaking notion seemed utterly preposterous. The logistical demands would necessitate the placement of sensors downrange, an impractical feat given the inherent dangers of traversing 800 yards into hostile territory to deploy meteorological instruments. Yet, Mitchell's relentless mind continued to ponder. What if physical sensors were not a prerequisite? What if one could ascertain wind patterns by observing the movement of something else through it? He recalled a specific lesson from his sniper training. Mirage reading. This technique relies on the observation of heat waves bending as they traverse moving air. The mirage's displacement is a direct consequence of wind forces, representing an indirect measurement, observing the effect rather than the direct cause. But what if this principle could be applied to something far more precise, something quantifiable with exactitude? The date was August 10, 2004. Mitchell found himself at the Camp Lejeune rifle range, observing a corporal meticulously zeroing his rifle. The corporal discharged 3 shots, and Mitchell's astute eyes immediately discerned the faint gray lines of condensation, the bullet vapor trails, subtly curving to the left in the humid North Carolina atmosphere, indicative of a wind push. The vapor trail, he realized, was a direct visual representation of how the wind was influencing the bullet's path. His heart rate accelerated. Vapor trails, however, are ephemeral, lasting only a fleeting second. But what if they could be tracked, measured, and subsequently utilized to calculate wind drift in real time? That very night, Mitchell began to fill his notebook with sketches. His nascent idea was rudimentary, bordering on the fantastical, yet it refused to recede from his thoughts. Lacking access to sophisticated laboratory equipment, Mitchell was limited to his garage, a laptop, and a mere $340 of his own capital. Throughout August 2004, Mitchell embarked on a resourceful quest. He procured a used digital camcorder from a pawn shop for $85 and a rudimentary laser pointer for $12. He then downloaded complimentary video editing software, setting the stage for his ostensibly straightforward, perhaps overly simplistic, plan. The methodology was clear. Step 1 involved mounting a camera adjacent to the sniper scope. Step 2 entailed filming the bullet's vapor trail. Step 3 required measuring the extent of the trail's drift from the point of aim. Finally, Step 4 sought to leverage this measured drift to calculate the precise wind speed between the shooter and the target. On paper, the concept held immense promise. In practice, it proved to be an unmitigated catastrophe. His inaugural trial occurred on August 19, 2004, during off hours at the Camp Lejeune range. He affixed the camcorder to his M40A3 rifle using duct tape. Upon firing, the sheer force of the recoil dislodged the camera from the rifle, sending it plummeting into the dirt where it shattered. The $85 investment was lost. Undeterred, Mitchell uttered a curse, acquired another camera, and prepared for a second attempt. For his second test, he encased the camera in protective foam and utilized zip ties instead of duct tape to secure it. This time, the camera remained attached, but the resulting footage was utterly worthless. The camera's autofocus mechanism proved incapable of tracking a bullet traveling at an astonishing 2,800 feet per second. The elusive vapor trail appeared for a mere 0, 3 seconds, manifesting as an indistinct blur across the frame. In his third attempt, Mitchell adjusted the camera to manual focus, setting it to infinity. This yielded a marginally better outcome, but the vapor trail remained so faint as to be barely discernible. He recognized the imperative for greater contrast. Then, on September 2, 2004, an innovative solution presented itself to Mitchell. He visited Home Depot, where he purchased a sheet of black poster board for a modest $3. He then positioned this board downrange at 100 yards, intending it as a high-contrast backdrop. Upon firing and reviewing the footage, the desired effect was achieved. The vapor trail, now crisp and distinctly visible against the dark background, exhibited a leftward curve of 3 inches in the half-second before its dissipation. Mitchell meticulously rewound the footage, rewatched it, and measured the curve against the screen with a ruler. A 3-inch curve at 100 yards, utilizing the known ballistic coefficient of his 308 Federal gold medal match ammunition. He could reverse engineer the calculation. The wind was approximately 12 mph, moving from left to right. He cross-referenced this with the range's wind flag, which indicated 11 meter. "Holy expletive, it works," he muttered, his hands trembling as he furiously scribbled notes. The prototype, though crude and bordering on the absurd, literally involving holding a camcorder against a rifle, filming shots, and then post-analyzing the footage to calculate wind, was undeniably slow and cumbersome, yet the underlying concept was demonstrably sound. By September 15, 2004, Mitchell felt confident enough to present his rudimentary setup to his spotter, Lance Corporal Danny Ortega. Ortega observed as Mitchell filmed a shot, meticulously measured the vapor trail's drift, and subsequently calculated the wind. "Dude," Ortega remarked slowly, his voice laced with a mixture of awe and concern, "that's expletive brilliant, but also that's got to be against some regulation. You're modifying a weapon system without authorization. You could get NJP'd. Non-judicial punishment, a form of military discipline." Mitchell, acknowledging the validity of Ortega's warning, simply nodded. "Yeah, probably." "You going to stop?" Ortega pressed. Mitchell, his gaze fixed on his notebook filled with intricate calculations and sketches, responded with unwavering resolve. "No," he declared. "I'm going to make this work. Then I'm going to show command." Ortega, a wide grin spreading across his face, replied, "That is insane. I'm in." The audacious declaration, "That is insane, I'm in," set the tone for a narrative of unconventional innovation within the rigid structures of military protocol. It was September 2004, deep within the operational heart of Camp Lejeune's Scout Sniper Platoon, when Corporal Mitchell sought an audience with his commanding officer, Captain Richard Voss. Mitchell arrived prepared. His laptop, a well-worn notebook, and a rather rudimentary duct-taped camera prototype in tow. He presented his groundbreaking concept, a novel approach to precisely gauge downrange wind conditions by meticulously analyzing the vapor trails left by bullets in flight. His request was straightforward yet profound: official sanction to formally test his inventive method. Captain Voss, a seasoned officer accustomed to the established channels of military advancement, listened intently to Mitchell's detailed presentation. He observed the grainy camcorder footage, reviewed the underlying mathematical computations, and then, with a sigh that seemed to carry the weight of institutional inertia, leaned back in his chair. His response, though delivered with a measure of appreciation for Mitchell's initiative, was laced with skepticism. "Corporal," he began, "I commend your drive. But this, frankly, is not how technological advancement typically unfolds within the Marine Corps. You are an E4, a 23-year-old with a high school education. Meanwhile, at Quantico, we employ PhD-level scientists dedicated to sniper technology. We engage contractors at Aberdeen Proving Ground who command budgets in the millions, and you genuinely believe you've cracked the code of wind reading with an $85 camera scavenged from a pawn shop. Mitchell, resolute in his conviction, countered, "Sir, the fundamental concept is undeniably sound. Stay with us and watch the end of the video. We will be grateful for your like and subscription." Voss pressed on, his concerns encompassing both the empirical and the bureaucratic. "The data you've presented, it originates from a mere 100-yard range, under absolutely pristine conditions. Combat, as you well know, is anything but perfect. And even if, by some remote chance, this contraption functioned, which I seriously doubt you've taken it upon yourself to modify a weapon system without proper authorization. That, Corporal, is a bureaucratic quagmire of epic proportions. Do you have any idea the sheer volume of paperwork I would be forced to complete to even attempt to push this up the chain of command?" Mitchell's jaw visibly tightened, his passion for the project overriding deference. "Sir," he asserted, his voice imbued with urgency, "our snipers are missing critical shots because we lack a reliable method to read wind. This could genuinely save lives." A flicker of empathy softened Voss's expression. "I understand your good intentions, Mitchell," he conceded. "But the Marine Corps simply does not adopt technology developed by corporals engaged in home-based experiments. Document your idea as a formal suggestion. Submit it through the proper channels. Perhaps in 2 or 3 years, someone at Quantico might deign to review it." The phrase 2 or 3 years resonated with Mitchell as a euphemism for never. He exited the office where Ortega awaited. "What was his verdict?" Ortega inquired. "He said no," Mitchell replied, a hint of resignation in his voice. "So, what now?" Ortega pressed. Mitchell paused, deep in contemplation. "We continue testing," he declared finally. "We prove its efficacy. Then they will be unable to disregard us. I'm writing from London, England, and I find the video topic incredibly compelling. It's a testament to how genuine innovation often springs from the ground up, from those directly facing a problem, rather than exclusively from top-down research. The story highlights the friction between established protocol and disruptive ideas, a dynamic that's fascinating to observe, especially within a highly structured environment like the military. It really makes you think about how many potentially life-saving or efficiency-boosting ideas might be overlooked due to rigid systems. October 2004 witnessed Mitchell and Ortega embarking on a series of clandestine tests, utilizing off-hours at the firing range to advance their unauthorized research. They meticulously filmed 50 distinct shots, intentionally varying the wind conditions for each. Through careful analysis of the bullet vapor trails, they calculated the wind speed, subsequently cross-referencing their findings with the readings from the range's official anemometer. Their accuracy proved remarkable, consistently reaching 87%. News of their audacious experiments began to ripple through the sniper platoon, eliciting a polarized response. Some Marines lauded it as an act of sheer genius, a brilliant solution to a persistent problem. Others, however, viewed it with apprehension, fearing it amounted to career suicide, an egregious disregard for the chain of command, involving unauthorized modifications to equipment and unsanctioned testing. On November 3, 2004, Mitchell received an unexpected summons, not from his immediate captain, but from a far more senior figure, Colonel Frank Delaney, the esteemed commandant of the Scout Sniper School. Accompanying the colonel were 2 civilian contractors from Quantico's prestigious Ballistics Research Division. As Mitchell entered the conference room, he found himself facing a panel of 6 men seated around a table. Among them, he recognized Dr. Robert Williams, the very Aberdeen ballistics expert whose published research had previously declared real-time wind reading to be an impossibility. This pivotal moment, Mitchell realized with a jolt, would either mark his significant professional breakthrough or precipitate his court-martial. Colonel Delaney initiated the discussion, his voice carrying an undeniable authority. "Corporal Mitchell," he began, "I have been informed that you have been conducting experiments, modifying weapons, and operating entirely outside the established proper channels." Mitchell attempted to interject. "Sir, But Delaney cut him off sharply. "I am not finished," he stated, his expression inscrutable. "I have also heard that these experiments of yours might, in fact, possess some merit. Dr. Williams, seated here, is exceedingly skeptical. Terribly so. Consequently, I have brought him all the way from Maryland to observe a live demonstration. If your concept proves to be valid, we will discuss it further. If, however, it is utter nonsense, you will face disciplinary action for squandering everyone's valuable time and for violating approximately a dozen regulations. Is that unequivocally clear?" "Crystal, sir," Mitchell affirmed, his voice steady. 2 days later, on November 5, 2004, the Camp Lejeune rifle range became the stage for Mitchell's crucial demonstration. His prototype, now slightly refined with a more robust camera mount, was meticulously set up. The environmental conditions were, paradoxically, ideal for a challenging test. The wind was gusting intensely at 15 mienupiti, its direction highly variable. Dr. Williams observed the proceedings, his arms tightly crossed, an air of profound skepticism emanating from him. "Corporal," he challenged, "I have dedicated 2 decades of my professional life to the study of ballistics. Real-time wind measurement across significant distances typically necessitates sophisticated sensor arrays, advanced telemetry systems, and complex computational fluid dynamics. Are you truly suggesting that a mere camcorder can achieve such a feat?" Mitchell responded with respectful clarity. "Not precisely, sir. My method involves measuring the direct effect of the wind on the bullet itself. The visible vapor trail reveals the extent of drift, from which I then calculate backward to determine wind speed." Dr. Williams dismissed this approach. "That constitutes indirect measurement," he declared, "inherently prone to error." "Yes, sir," Mitchell conceded, "but it is undeniably superior to mere guesswork." Mitchell then proceeded to fire a shot, meticulously filming its trajectory. He reviewed the footage on his laptop, precisely measured the vapor trail's drift, and calculated the wind speed, 14, 7 mph quartering from the right. He then walked to the range's official weather station, reading its anemometer, 15. 2 AMR, indicating a wind direction from right to left. Dr. Williams stared intently at the converging numbers. "Again," he commanded. Mitchell fired 10 additional shots, his subsequent calculations averaging 14. 9 miles an hour, the anemometer consistently read 15. 2. The margin of error was a mere 2%. A palpable excitement erupted within the room. One of the Quantico contractors voiced his concern. "This contravenes every established protocol." Dr. Williams, however, swiftly interjected, cutting him off. "It also undeniably works," he stated, a newfound conviction in his tone. Colonel Delaney then rose, fixing his gaze upon Mitchell. "Corporal," he articulated, "you have indeed circumvented approximately 15 regulations to arrive at this point, but this This possesses genuine potential. I am formally authorizing further testing. We are taking this to Quantico." Mitchell exhaled deeply, a breath he felt he had held for an entire hour. "Thank you, sir," he replied, relief washing over him. By January 2005, the scene had shifted to the prestigious Marine Corps Base Quantico, Virginia, where the Marine Corps Warfighting Lab assumed control of Mitchell's groundbreaking prototype. True to military form, they embarked on a process of significant over-engineering. Mitchell's original camcorder was replaced with a state-of-the-art high-speed ballistic camera capable of capturing an astonishing 1,000 frames per second. Concurrently, they developed proprietary software designed to automatically track bullet vapor trails and precisely calculate drift. This advanced system was then seamlessly integrated with a sophisticated laser rangefinder and a ballistic computer. By March 2005, a fully functional prototype, christened the VT-1 Vapor Trail Wind Compensation System, had emerged. This innovative device was expertly mounted onto an M4A3 rifle with its total weight, including the camera module and processing unit, reaching 14 pounds. It was powered by long-lasting lithium batteries, providing an operational life of 6 hours. Formal testing commenced on April 12, 2005, at Quantico's dedicated Weapons Training Battalion range. A diverse group of 12 Marine Scout snipers, ranging in rank from corporals to gunnery sergeants, participated. Over 3 intensive days, they fired a total of 600 rounds under a variety of challenging wind conditions: calm, steady, gusting, and swirling. Half of these shots utilized conventional wind reading techniques, while the other half leveraged Mitchell's revolutionary VT-1 system. The results were nothing short of astonishing, leaving everyone involved utterly stunned. Traditional methods yielded a first-round hit rate of only 34% at distances between 600 and 800 yards. In stark contrast, the VT-1 system achieved an impressive 71% first-round hit rate within the same challenging range. The VT-1 system demonstrated an extraordinary level of precision, achieving a 71% first-round hit rate when engaging targets between 600 and 800 yards. Its efficacy became even more pronounced and critical at significantly greater distances. At 1,000 yards, a range where the complexities of reading and compensating for wind effects become exceptionally difficult and unpredictable, traditional marksmanship methods yielded a mere 18% first-round hit rate. In stark contrast, the revolutionary VT-1 system dramatically elevated this success rate to an impressive 62%. This profound disparity underscored the system's transformative potential in long-range engagements. Dr. Williams, initially perhaps a skeptic, rapidly evolved into a staunch advocate, penning a comprehensive report that lauded the innovation. In his expert assessment, he articulated that Corporal Mitchell's groundbreaking concept fundamentally reconfigured the approach to wind estimation. It transitioned this crucial aspect of marksmanship from a speculative prediction based on observation to a precise, real-time measurement derived from meticulously observing a bullet's actual behavior in flight. The system's advanced capabilities allowed it to account for a myriad of complex and dynamic atmospheric variables, such as thermals, localized eddies, and shifting crosswinds, elements that were previously deemed impossible to accurately foresee or calculate from a sniper's static firing position. This represented nothing less than a monumental paradigm shift in the realm of precision marksmanship, promising unprecedented accuracy. Recognizing its immense strategic value and life-saving potential, the Marine Corps swiftly prioritized and fast-tracked the VT-1 system for immediate operational deployment. By August 2005, a contingent of 20 sophisticated VT-1 systems had been expeditiously dispatched to Iraq, where they were slated for rigorous combat evaluation under real-world conditions, marking a pivotal moment in military technology. After 2 or 3 paragraphs, stay with us and watch the end of the video. We will be grateful for your like and subscription. Please write a comment below about where you are from and what you think about the video topic. The 14th of September 2005 found Sergeant Carlos Ruiz positioned strategically on a rooftop in Fallujah, Iraq, his gaze fixed upon Route Michigan, a vital artery traversing the city. He was among the vanguard of snipers to be equipped with the newly introduced VT-1 system. Approximately 750 yards distant, an insurgent machine gun team was in the process of establishing its position, poised to launch a devastating ambush on an approaching convoy. The environmental conditions were formidable. A vicious, swirling wind, likely gusting at around 20 km/h, swept in from the Euphrates River, its direction frustratingly inconsistent. Under conventional marksmanship protocols, Ruiz would have been compelled to fire an initial shot, almost certainly missing his target, then laboriously adjust his aim based on the bullet's impact, and only then fire again. Such a time-consuming process would, in all likelihood, have afforded the insurgents ample opportunity to either vanish from sight or retaliate with their own suppressive fire. However, on this occasion, Sergeant Ruiz activated the innovative VT-1 system. He meticulously aimed and discharged a single ranging shot towards a secure backstop, a sturdy concrete wall situated safely near the target area. The system's integrated camera instantaneously captured the bullet's subtle vapor trail, precisely measuring its drift and calculating the complex wind dynamics. A formidable 22 mètres-pieds, quartering left at an exact 45-degree angle. The sophisticated ballistic computer then seamlessly and automatically recalibrated his aim point. Ruiz, with unwavering focus, shifted his crosshair to the newly designated position, took a controlled breath, and gently squeezed the trigger. The insurgent machine gunner immediately fell, a confirmed kill achieved with just one perfectly placed shot. Ruiz's spotter, a lance corporal, stared intently through his spotting scope, his voice filled with incredulity, exclaiming, "Holy expletive, you just made that look easy." Sergeant Ruiz, maintaining his composure, replied simply, "That's the point," encapsulating the revolutionary efficiency of the new technology. Over the ensuing 3 months, Marine snipers who were equipped with the formidable VT-1 system amassed an astounding record of 247 confirmed kills across the challenging battlefields of Fallujah, Ramadi, and Mosul. Their average shots per kill ratio plummeted to an unprecedented 1. 4 rounds, a dramatic improvement from the pre-VT-1 average of 4. 2 rounds. This remarkable difference extended far beyond mere ammunition efficiency. It directly translated into enhanced survivability for the snipers themselves. Fewer shots meant significantly reduced exposure time on hostile rooftops and concealed positions, minimizing telltale muzzle flashes, and drastically diminishing the probability of enemy counter-snipers successfully pinpointing their location. By December 2005, a truly astonishing statistic emerged. Marine snipers utilizing the VT-1 systems had sustained 0 combat fatalities. This stood in stark and tragic contrast to the same period in the preceding year, when, without the benefit of the system, 14 dedicated snipers had tragically lost their lives. The enemy's reactions unequivocally affirmed their growing fear and confusion. Intercepted insurgent communications, meticulously gathered by Marine intelligence in January 2006, included a chilling recording of an al-Qaeda in Iraq fighter captured in a safe house in Ramadi, stating with palpable dread, "The American snipers have changed. Before, if you moved fast, you could escape after their first shot. Now, the first shot kills every time. They have new magic. We cannot fight their snipers anymore." Further substantiating this profound shift in battlefield dynamics, a letter discovered on the body of a killed insurgent commander, dated February 2006, contained stark directives. Do not engage American sniper positions. They do not miss. Move only at night or in dust storms when their vision is obscured. Indeed, the VT-1 system had achieved something that bullets alone could not. It forged a powerful psychological deterrent. Insurgents, once bold in daylight, ceased all movement during the day. They abandoned their positions with haste whenever they merely suspected the presence of a Marine sniper. Consequently, entire neighborhoods, once hotbeds of insurgent activity, became perceptibly safer as the enemy's fear of engagement paralyzed their operations. In March 2006, at Camp Lejeune, the same corporal, now a sergeant, following a well-deserved meritorious promotion, returned to the Scout Sniper School, this time as a distinguished guest instructor. He meticulously demonstrated the revolutionary VT-1 system to a new class of eager students, showcasing its capabilities. Following the compelling demonstration, a young corporal, clearly impressed and curious, approached Sergeant Mitchell. "Sergeant," he inquired, "is it true you built the first prototype in your garage?" Mitchell smiled, a hint of nostalgia in his eyes. "With a pawn shop camcorder and duct tape, yeah," he confirmed. The student pressed on. "And they almost court-martialed you for it." "Almost," Mitchell replied. "But they didn't." The student hesitated, then tentatively asked, "So, if I have an idea that seems crazy, I should," Mitchell swiftly interjected, his voice firm with conviction. "You should test it, prove it, then make them listen. The Marine Corps doesn't care about your rank if your idea saves lives. They care about results." By June 2006, after a full year of active combat deployment, the statistical data concerning VT-1 equipped snipers presented an undeniably compelling narrative. A staggering 147 confirmed kills had been recorded, accompanied by a remarkable 71% first-round hit rate. The average shots per kill had dramatically reduced to 4 rounds, a significant improvement from the previous 4. 2. Sniper fatalities had plummeted to just 2, a stark decrease from the 14 recorded in the preceding year. Furthermore, the enemy KIA per sniper team was 3, 2 times higher than in the pre-VT-1 era. This efficiency also resulted in substantial resource savings, with over 5,000 rounds of ammunition conserved, valued at an estimated $12,000. However, beyond these impressive metrics, the most profoundly significant figure was the estimated number of friendly lives saved. An estimated 38 Marines and soldiers, who would otherwise have succumbed to ambushes, were spared thanks to the preemptive and precise actions of VT-1 equipped snipers. A seasoned gunnery sergeant, a veteran sniper with 19 years of dedicated service, penned a heartfelt letter to Mitchell, expressing his profound gratitude. "I've been shooting for 2 decades. I've trained hundreds of Marines. Your system made me a better sniper in 1 day than 20 years of experience did. Because of you, 38 kids went home to their families. That's your legacy. In the post-war period, the VT-1 system underwent rapid and significant evolution. By 2008, a prominent defense contractor had forged a strategic partnership with the Marine Corps to develop the VT-2, a fully integrated and highly advanced system. This iteration seamlessly combined real-time vapor trail analysis, precision laser rangefinding, and sophisticated ballistic computation into a single compact 8-pound unit. It swiftly became the standard issue equipment for all Marine Scout snipers, solidifying its place in modern warfare. The technology continued its expansion, and in 2011 the U.S. Army adopted a modified version, aptly named the Wind Trace System, WTS, for its precision sniper rifle program. By 2015, this groundbreaking technology had disseminated widely among Allied militaries, including elite units such as the British SAS, Canadian JTF-2, Australian SASR, and Israeli Sayeret Matkal. The fundamental principle at its core, the real-time measurement of wind effects rather than mere prediction, firmly established itself as the indispensable foundation for all modern sniper ballistic computers. Today's cutting-edge systems incorporate advanced optics, sophisticated AI-assisted image recognition capabilities, and seamlessly integrate with cloud-connected weather data. Yet, remarkably, every single one of these highly advanced systems ultimately traces its lineage back to the ingenious concept conceived by a corporal with a rudimentary camcorder in 2004. By 2020, over 14,000 VT series systems had been deployed globally. Manufacturers estimate that this transformative technology has been utilized in more than 50,000 combat engagements across diverse theaters, including Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and numerous classified operations worldwide, forever changing the landscape of precision marksmanship. His distinguished military career, which encompassed a myriad of challenging and often classified operations across the globe, was a testament to his dedication and exceptional capabilities. These missions frequently demanded discretion and precise execution in highly sensitive environments worldwide. Upon his departure from the Marine Corps in 2009, having achieved the rank of Staff Sergeant, this remarkably unassuming individual found himself the recipient of numerous, highly remunerative opportunities within the defense contracting sector. Among these compelling offers, a prominent defense contractor extended a position proposing an annual salary of $180,000 for his expertise in consulting on the development of the VT-2 system. Despite the significant financial incentive and professional prestige associated with such a role, he resolutely declined these advances. Instead of pursuing a path of continued technical innovation or corporate success, he chose a distinctly different trajectory, returning to his roots in Tennessee. There, he embraced a more grounded existence, assuming control of his father's established HVAC business. When a persistent reporter successfully located him in 2013, seeking an interview regarding the widely acclaimed success of the VT system, Mitchell exhibited a palpable unease with the sudden spotlight. He humbly asserted, "I didn't invent anything new. I just watched bullets and did some math. Thousands of Marines use that system now, and they're the ones doing the hard work. They're the heroes. I just gave them a tool." His words underscored a profound sense of modesty, deflecting personal credit and redirecting it toward the countless service members who actively utilized his innovation in the field. We encourage you to stay with us and watch the end of this video. We would be immensely grateful for your like and subscription. Please also consider leaving a comment below, sharing where you are from and your thoughts on the video's topic. The reporter, intrigued by his lack of conventional ambition, then probed whether he harbored any regrets about relinquishing his military career and foregoing the public recognition and accolades that might have followed. Mitchell, with a definitive shake of his head, dismissed the notion. He articulated his contentment, stating, "I did what I joined to do, help Marines stay alive and complete the mission. That's done. Now I fix air conditioners. It's a good life." His response eloquently conveyed a deep satisfaction derived from fulfilling his core purpose, prioritizing tangible impact over personal glory, and finding contentment in the simplicity of his current endeavors. To this day, he meticulously preserves his original notebook, a tangible relic from August 2004, which remains replete with his initial sketches, intricate diagrams, and complex mathematical calculations. This personal archive, a testament to the genesis of his groundbreaking work, is carefully kept in a drawer within his home, a private memento never revealed to outsiders. In 2018, the Marine Corps Warfighting Lab officially recognized his profound contribution by publishing a comprehensive case study, aptly titled Innovation from the Bottom Up, the VT1 Story. This significant document has since become mandatory reading for all aspiring officers at Officer Candidate School and for senior enlisted leaders attending the Staff NCO Academy. The study's powerful conclusion resonates deeply, asserting that he succeeded where PhDs failed, not because he was smarter, but because he refused to accept impossible as an answer. Rank, credentials, and formal education matter far less than obsession, creativity, and the willingness to be wrong 100 times, to be right once. The Marine Corps must cultivate environments where corporals feel empowered to challenge doctrine, because sometimes the best ideas come from the garage, not the laboratory. This profound message champions the intrinsic value of tenacity, ingenuity, and a willingness to defy conventional wisdom, advocating for an organizational culture that empowers innovation from all ranks. Further cementing his legacy, a heartfelt letter from a sergeant, penned in 2006, holds a place of honor, proudly displayed within the hallowed halls of the Scout Sniper School at Quantico. Its poignant opening words, "Because of you, we came," serve as a powerful and enduring tribute to the life-saving impact of his extraordinary yet humbly delivered contribution.